Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. I had to think about that for a reason. You would think by now, as I'm getting close to having done 80 of them, that I would remember the title. It's been one of those days. We'll start this podcast with a little bit of an update. Actually, probably an update on a couple of things. The first of which is my molar. If you recall from last week, I had chipped off about a third of my bottom back right molar. So I got into the dentist on Monday and got a temporary crown put in. That was not a fun procedure. Apparently when you're doing the bottom ones, it's tougher, and there was a whole lot of bad smell and bad taste that went on. And it's really uncomfortable having your mouth open as long as I had to have my mouth open. But got the crown, the temporary crown, and I don't love it. I'm not a fan of the way it feels. You know, when there's something weird going on in your mouth, at least in my mouth, I find that my tongue just wants to keep going back to that area all the time. It's kind of like picking a scab. You know you shouldn't do it, but you just can't stop yourself. So I keep probing back in that area of my mouth with my tongue, and it's weird because the surface, the top, supposed to be chewing part of the molar is flat. It feels like a piece of gum, like smooth gum that's gotten hard and is back there. That just feels a little bit weird. And I'm not supposed to be chewing on that side. The dentist said I'm supposed to only chew on this side until I get the permanent crown, which is probably going to be a month. So that's going to be a little bit weird. But back to the tooth, there's some jaggedness on the edge, and it feels kind of uncomfortable. It's sort of a constant, sort of mild soreness that I'm not digging. But try not to let it affect my mood too much. I'm going to come, what should I do here? I'm waffling, aren't I? Or chaffling. Yeah, I'm going to use this to segue into something else here, which is that night, last Monday, after having my mouth just Novocained up to the point that I couldn't feel essentially from the center line of my face, all the way over, including my tongue. And we had pizza. The rest of the family had regular pizza, and I'm pretty good at making regular pizza. And I had some pizza using one of the So Keto crusts. This is not an ad for them, by the way, but I'm chewing, and because I can't feel my face, I think I bit the inside of my lip half a dozen times with gusto. And here's the wild thing that I noticed. I didn't get a canker sore from it. I used to, pre-keto, get canker sores just all of the time. Probably once a month, and severe ones, really, really painful ones. And it occurred to me that after biting my own lip this time and not getting a canker sore, I don't think I've had a canker sore since going keto. Kind of wild. The other thing I noticed is I haven't been bit by a mosquito in 2 years. I don't know. I don't know if we put off a different smell or maybe a lack of smell that doesn't attract then mosquitoes. But when my wife and I were camping up at the lake last month, out by the bonfire, people were complaining that they were just getting eaten alive. And I'm like, nothing. And I didn't have any bug repellent on or anything. And it's been really humid and buggy here in Wisconsin the last few weeks. And again, the whole family's just complaining about how awful the mosquitoes are outside, and I haven't been bit once. So I'd be curious to know, those of you who are on keto, which should be most of you, or carnivore, I guess as well too, or ketovore. I'm not here to judge, whatever. We're all one happy family, but let me know. Have you experienced that same thing, that lack of canker sores and the lack of mosquito bites? It would be interesting to get a few more data points than just me. The other thing I had mentioned last week was that I now have a personal, I don't know what you would call her, sort of concierge or contact within YouTube, that her job for the next, I think, 6 months is to help me out with the channel, give me advice. Of course, last week's advice was I should advertise more. I'll come back and talk about that in a second. But you asked me some questions, and I plan on asking her those questions as well, and we'll see if we can get any sort of an answer. One thing that's kind of interesting that I found out is what happens when somebody gives you a thumbs down. You ready for this? The answer is pretty much nothing. So first off, it doesn't hurt the content creator at all, unless we've got really thin skin and we see a thumbs down and it hurts our feelings. But it also doesn't help us at all. It doesn't count like as engagement, which is something I thought it did. I thought if someone clicked a thumbs down, that was just as helpful as a thumbs up in terms of engagement, because I've engaged somebody, I've elicited a reaction. But nope, doesn't really do anything. At least, like I said, to the content creator. It has no impact on the promotability of our video. It has no impact on what YouTube in general or advertisers think of me. Nothing. So what does it do? The only thing it does is, according to my contact at YouTube, is if you hit the thumbs down, you will be less likely to be recommended videos either on that topic or from that content creator. Now, I believe that there were some people who subscribed to my channel purely to give me thumbs down. The reason I think this is because I would put out a video and within the first hour, without fail, there would be 7 or 8 thumbs down. Very consistent. And my thought was the only way this would happen is someone would have to subscribe and have notifications turned on. These weren't just random people. And if that was the case, then these people were just completely wasting their time, because all they were doing was coming in and giving me a tenth of a penny of ad revenue just to click thumbs down for whatever satisfaction they get from that, whatever healing it does for their soul or something. I don't know. But if it does make them happy, go ahead, click thumbs down. It doesn't hurt me. However, that could be some good information for the rest of you if you're getting recommended videos that you don't want to be recommended. I suppose you could thumbs down it. But I know that some content creators do kind of take it personally when they see that thumbs down. I don't know. Do what you want to do now that you have that information. Another question I got a few times is, how does YouTube or the algorithm determine what ads you will see? And according to my contact at YouTube, it is based on your past viewing history. Now, that doesn't mean that you had to watch a specific video on a topic, like say barbecue, and then you get an ad for Franklin Barbecue. It could just be that you were watching videos that other people watched who watched a lot of barbecue videos. So it's sort of a pooled algorithm, is my understanding. And I know that some of the ads that YouTube puts out, they make no sense whatsoever. Why put like a Weight Watchers ad, or I don't know what else would be a really anti-keto thing, but put something on a keto channel that is completely irrelevant to keto. There are some out there that frankly I don't think would even be allowed on primetime TV. They're a little bit on the edge, you know what I'm saying? The other question I got was related to non-skippable ads. So if I were to put on non-skippable ads, if I were to check that box on each of my videos, that doesn't mean that YouTube will play a non-skippable ad. What it means is they have the right, they have the option to put on a non-skippable ad, which, as I understand it, are generally shorter ads in length. I can't confirm that. If any of you have found that there's a non-skippable ad that's more than, say, 30 seconds, even 20 seconds, I think that would be about my threshold. If you've seen non-skippable ads that are really long, let me know. I would like to know about that, because if I can put on non-skippable ads but they're only 5 or 10 seconds, that's like not a big deal. I think that's how long you have to sit through a skippable ad anyway before you can hit skip. But back to where I was going with this is YouTube then has the option to put in non-skippable ads. And what the algorithm will do is it will look to see how many other non-skippable ads you've had recently. And I'm going to say supposedly. Just put a big supposedly blanket over anything that I convey to you that I've been told from YouTube, because I don't know of any way to prove it. But supposedly, if say you just watched another video or two and they were both including non-skippable ads, you would not get a non-skippable ad on my video. In fact, you might not get an ad at all on my video. And I've gotten that feedback from a number of you when I insert an ad break and the screen goes black, and then I'm back in 3 seconds, and you say you didn't see an ad. So it kind of makes sense that YouTube is looking at what is the the threshold of ads that it can put on you before you go away. That's what I think is going on. And on the subject of ads, I think I'm going to take one right now. I'd mentioned a few podcasts ago that it seems like my videos are starting to get more exposure outside of the keto community. And that's good and that's bad. It's good because my video's getting seen by more people. It's bad because then I got to deal with the anti-keto comments. And I'm not complaining about comments. This is not going to be one of those segments. What it's going to be is more about the misunderstanding and misconceptions that these people have about keto. And of course, I think so much of that has been driven by the media. But I think the biggest one is that keto is a diet. I wish that keto weren't called a diet. If I could go through every book that says keto diet and just scratch out the word diet and write lifestyle. In fact, I might even scratch out the word keto and just call it a anti-inflammatory, blood glucose controlling, diabetes defeating lifestyle. But that would be too long. It's shorter to say keto. And I've beat on this drum before, which is the whole weight loss versus other benefits of keto aspect. Yes, you can lose weight and probably will lose weight by doing a ketogenic way of eating. Notice I didn't say the D word. But I would gladly take back every pound that I lost and still feel the way that I feel. To have my joints, my knees, my knuckles feel the way I feel. To have my mood be the way my mood is. Just my whole outlook on life feels so much better. And I don't believe that's specifically a weight thing. I have a better feeling about everything. I wake up not feeling miserable. I used to get out of bed. I think I described this in a previous podcast. I almost had to roll out of bed. And there were oftentimes grunting noises that went with it. Anytime I got out of a chair, I was like, ugh, it's just my body hurt. And to not have those sort of feelings, to be able to roll around on the floor and be a goofball with my 2-year-old grandson, that's like the greatest blessing that I could hope for from anything. And I believe that came from keto. So you've got the lack of inflammation. You've got the various benefits that you get in terms of energy by becoming fat adapted and not relying on these garbage, high glycemic carbs. And, you look at just the ability. I get just time and time again comments from people who tell me what they've done to their A1C. That's just amazing. It's miraculous. Without medicine, just food. And this is what frustrates me about the comments that I get from the anti-keto people, is they don't realize that weight, at least in my opinion, is a pleasant side effect, or weight loss is a pleasant side effect of the ketogenic lifestyle. I think most of us, if it were just a diet, we would have stopped when we hit our weight loss target. But we don't. We keep going on. Maybe we experiment. We decide, are there some additional carbs we could throw in? So that misconception really, really grinds my gears. The other big misconception that I think there is about keto is that we just sit around and eat butter and bacon all day long. That sounds good. I could go for some butter and bacon right now. They think we completely eschew vegetables and that we don't eat any type of fruits. And it's just, they're wrong. And I wish they knew that. And that's one of the reasons why in my salad dressing video, and anytime I do videos that I think are going to be a little bit more mainstream, that have a likelihood of getting recommended to non-keto people, I'm going to, maybe spend 20 seconds quickly interjecting a little fun fact about keto, that it's not just a weight loss thing, that it's not butter and bacon purely, that we can eat healthy vegetables, we can eat berries. There are things we can eat that are healthy carbohydrates when consumed in moderation, and I think that's maybe my best way of fighting it. There's no point in getting into a headbutting match in the comments about it, and I'm certainly not going to try and educate people in the comments. That's just too much work, too much typing. So expect to see whenever I do more of a mainstream, Yes, it's keto, but it's sort of coincidentally keto. It's really an overall cooking video. When I do those, you'll start seeing me throw in little subliminal, potentially, maybe not subliminal, bits on keto and why keto's a good thing and why I believe certain things that people say about keto are incorrect. In terms of my weekly plug for Lean Body Mind, I just released a video last week showing how I do, at least how I visually represent meal planning. It's not the process of meal planning. That'll probably be a future video. I do touch on that a little bit, but it's more how do I represent to the family what we're eating throughout the week and how can we manage our meals better. So that's over on Lean Body Mind. I also suspect you're going to start seeing some product reviews, including the Ninja Foodie Never Stick, I think is what it's called, their fry pan. I'll be doing a review of that. And I just ordered, and it will be arriving on September 3rd, the Ninja Creamy. This is their ice cream maker. So for those of you who enjoy keto chow and like making ice cream, I'll be playing around with that, and I'll let you know how that goes. But I think that is going to be it for this podcast. As always, thanks for watching or listening.